Hello, folks. It's Ardown, former professional boxer and Belfast boxing historian Eamon McAuley with you here today. Uh, the best fighter that I ever seen in the flesh was Barry McGuigan, and the best fighter I was ever in the ring with was also Barry McGuigan. Barry McGuigan was really, really something special. In my opinion, he was the best home-based boxer to ever come out of Ireland, and that includes Steve Collins and my great uncle Rinty Monaghan. This might shock you, but I see Barry as an underachiever. Barry should have really made at least 10 defences of his WBA featherweight title. I seriously believe Barry could have beat the rival champion, Eamon Nelson. I'm not saying he would have, but I'm saying he could have. Both boxed tough Juan Laporte. Barry practically outclassed Laporte in the King's Hall in 1984. Laporte landed flush in Barry's chin in the 5th and in the 9th, and Barry didn't even blink. Ex-champion Laporte, who had only lost his title to Wilfredo Gomez 9 months previously, would go on to fight Nelson a few years later in Australia, and he badly hurt Nelson twice. Nelson was on rubbly legs and just about made it over the line to win a close unanimous decision. I was with Juan Laporte in London at the opening of John Rooney's gym, what have been about 2002, and they showed Juan Laporte's fight with Barry McGuigan. Me and Juan stood together and watched it. I remember asking him afterwards who would win between McGuigan and Nelson, as he had fought both. But Juan sat in the fence as he thought either man could win. As an amateur, Barry won the Commonwealth Gold in Edmonton, Canada in 1978. To be honest, I thought he was well beat in the final, but he was only 17. Barry would go to the Moscow Olympics in 1980, and he lost a 4-1 decision in the last 16 to Wilfred Kimbona from Zambia. Barry turned pro with Barney Eastwood and will win the British, the European and the WBA World Featherweight title. I've seen all of Barry's fights in England, including the night he beat Eusebio Pedrosa for the World Featherweight title at Loftus Road, the home of Queen's Park Rangers football ground. I also seen his second title defence in Dublin against Danielo Cabrera. After this, I joined the Barney Eastwood stable and got to know Barry personally. I also had the pleasure of sparring Barry. Maybe pleasure isn't the right word. Barry went into the gym with disguises on. Sometimes he would have a cap, a fake beard or sunglasses, etc. Belfast, Ireland was Barry mania, believe me. And he had to wear disguises or else he would be mobbed out on the street. Barry would come up the stairs and come through the door to the gym, and I would think to myself, who the fuck is that out lad? But it was Barry with disguises on. Barry would lose his title in the searing heat in Las Vegas to Texan Stevie Cruz. Barry lost a split decision. It was madness for Barry to box at the hottest time of the year, at the hottest time of the day. Cruz was used to the heat, but fair-skinned McGuigan wasn't. I don't like to take the credit away from Cruz, who boxed a magnificent fight that night. But it was definitely the heat that beat Barry that night. Barry was put down twice in the 15th round and was hospitalised after the fight from heat exhaustion. Cruz would lose to a guy I sparred with, Antonio Esparragoza, losing his world title. And a few years later, Cruz would come to Belfast to box Paul Hodgkinson, and Paul stopped cruising 3 rounds, defending his WBC featherweight title. But at that stage, Cruz was way past his best. I think that was 1982, but he won against McGuigan in 1986. Barry retired from boxing after suffering a cut-eye defeat to Jim McDonald. Barry had an acrimonious fallout with manager and promoter Barney Eastwood some years later, and it ended up in the courthouse. Barry lost again, and lost heavily. Barry rang me up one day and asked me why I'm not boxing no more. He told me, "You could be a world champion." And he fixed me up with Barry Hearn. I have been friends with Barry for over 30 years, and have stayed over in his house in Faversham in Kent. Thanks for listening to me. Take care and God bless. See you soon.